Good morning, everyone. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good
Okay,
morning.
so you're welcome to the Job. Great. Thank you all for joining us for the second edition of our Talking Talent webinar series. My name is Genevieve. I work with Jobberman as a community marketer. I'll be your moderator for this morning. This morning, as we all know, we have a huge task that is to know about how to assess talent in 2020 and beyond. And we have two great speakers who are helping us get the understanding of how to assess the best talent in 2020 and beyond. So we have Emmeline Date, the HR head of EIB Network, and then also we have Miss Irene Nana Austin. She's the HR manager for Uton Engineering. These two HR experts will be joining us to share insights on the topics. So before I go on, I would like to talk to you about Jobberman. Jobberman is a recruitment platform in Ghana, and we all know we are the leading recruitment platform here. So when it comes to finding the right talent in Ghana and then finding jobs, Jobberman is the very option for you. So we have this new product also called the Skills Assessment. Skills Assessment, I would like to share my screen with you, then you can understand what I mean by skills assessment. Okay, so if you can see my screen. Hello, if you can see my screen, I'll go straight to skills assessment. So when we talk about skills assessments are tailored assessments or tailored tests, which are used to test individuals' understanding of a particular job. When somebody applies for a job, there are so many ways for us to look or get insight as to if they really are competent for the job enough or not. So with skills assessment test, you are able to identify who best can do the job. So Jobberman has this for you. And then we're asking you, why do you need the Jobberman skills assessment test? Too many low quality applicants. Once in a while, you may post a job and then the applications coming in, you may see that, the applicants are two, you are interviewing inadequate candidates. When we say inadequate candidate, it means that they are not up to task. They can't even do what you have asked them to do. So it becomes a difficulty there. And then again, you're unable to compare candidates. For example, you may have two or more candidates who you think are competent for the job, but you can't even separate them or choose which one is very good. So with a skills assessment, you are able to know who best can do the job. And then again, you are able to make a good hiring decision in the sense that our test, after a job seeker takes the test, at the end of the day, you get results. These results are able to give you insights as to who is a learner or who is a beginner, who is an intermediate, and then who is an expert in what they say they can do. So with the skills assessment test, it helps you to avoid unqualified candidates or unqualified applicants. It discovers who has the right skills, and then you make good hiring decisions. You save time as well and money ultimately. And the last point, you objectively compare candidates because you have assessment tests to hire the most competent candidate for the job. And in order for you to know more about these skills assessment tests, please do request a demo visit our website www.jobberman.com.gh/skills-assessment. Thank you very much. And our presentation, we will invite our first speaker, which is Miss Irene Nana Austin. Miss Irene Nana Austin.
Hi, good morning, Genevieve. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, good morning. I hope you are well.
Very well, thank you.
Yes, we can hear you. I'm very, very fine. We are glad to have you here. So Miss Irene Nana Austin has 8-year experience in HR management. She is the recruitment manager for Uton Engineering Services. And this morning, she will be speaking on remote recruitment trends for 2020 and beyond. So Miss Irene, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Genevieve.
Please take it away.
All right. So hi, everybody. Good morning. And I'm glad to have this opportunity to share the little I know about remote recruitment. And I'm sure just when we all saw the title or the theme for today, I'm sure the first thing that came to mind was COVID, because that's the new normal now. So in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to take you through remote recruitment trends in 2020 and beyond. And I hope that we'll be able to make an impact. At least we learned something. So, can I get my next slide? All right, so within this, I'm going to look at recruitment as a whole. When we talk about recruitment, exactly what it entails, and narrow it down to remote recruitment. Look at the challenges that are possible in case you adopt the remote recruitment strategy, and a few recommendations to make it easy for you to recruit remotely, and of course, still have a very efficient recruitment process. And I'm sure I'll share a few strategies as to how to ensure that you have the best of recruitment. So I'll start with the quote from ABC. Okay, so whoever is regulating my screen should please go to the next screen. The next slide, please. Hi, Genevieve, can you hear me? Hello, Genevieve. All right, so since Genevieve can't hear us, so there's a saying by ABC that the saying, tradition goes on, is anti-dynamic and ruins the process and development of every nation that adheres to it. And I cannot, agree more to this. Of course, if you are a nation or you are an individual and you would want to stick to the phrase that tradition goes on, to hinder your progress or your growth, because what it means is that you do or you adapt to change, which is also not right. So of this short lecture, we are going to look at the introduction, that's recruitment as a key role that every HR person plays, and how as an HR person you can adapt to the current then we would look at the remote recruitment in brief, just talk briefly about it. Then beyond 2020, how remote recruitment is going to look, then we can conclude a few recommendations and we'll take some questions. So I've mentioned earlier that recruitment, usually when you mention recruitment, the first thing that would come to the minds of people is interviewing and hiring, and it ends there. But actually, recruitment is very identity, or you get interviewing the
Irene, it looks like we can't hear Irene at the moment. Hello, everyone. So sorry for the internet interruption there. It looks like Irene has difficulty with her internet. So we are trying to get her back and we'll continue with the program. So in the meantime, hello, Irene. Okay, in the meantime, we have this poll down there. When you look at the bottom part of your screen, yes, you can see we have you taken a skills assessment test before? And then the second one is, if yes, what did you think of the assessment test? So this is what we have there. You can just go and, okay, Irene, hello. Okay, Irene is back. Irene is back. Irene is back. Wow. Wow. Okay, so as I was saying, have you ever used a skills assessment before? If yes, how did it go for you? And was the question so difficult or it was easy? You can share that with us in the comment section and we will take it up from there as we wait for Irene to join us again. And we are still trying to get in touch with Irene. So since you are not getting Irene, we will continue with Emlyn. So
Hello, Genevieve.
Wow.
Hello.
Uh,
Hi. Hello. Hello. Okay, so I'd want to presume that you can hear me. Okay, so Genevieve can hear me, right? So I don't know at which point the line went off, but okay, great. So Nicholas, thanks for the feedback. I would continue or all right. So for the benefit of those who lost, we are going to go through recruitment as a whole, remote recruitment in brief. Then we'll look at the trends in recruitment beyond 2020, how recruitment is going to look like after 2020. Then we can conclude with some recommendations. Unfortunately, I'm getting some feedback. All right. So I started with a quote by ABC, the saying that, according to ABC, the saying that tradition goes on is anti-dynamic and ruins the progress and development of every nation that adheres to it. And of course, I would want to side with them because there's no way you would want to stick to the fact that tradition goes on, and you would, which means that you are not available to change. And when it happens like that, it hinders growth and development. And so I have identified that, which we all know, where that recruitment is actually a very key role that every human resource person plays. And it's unfortunate that usually when you mention recruitment, the first thing that comes to the minds of the people is advertising a role, getting the people, and interviewing, and usually it ends there. But recruitment actually is a full process that starts from identifying a candidate, attracting the candidate, interviewing the candidate, selecting the candidate before you go to the hiring level. When you mention identifying a candidate, sometimes it actually depends on how or the kind of candidates you wish to attract. Okay, so in identifying a candidate, there are some set skills that you require for a particular role, and it is based on those skills that you identify a resource that will match up to the job role. And how do you attract such candidates? You usually attract such candidates with the kind of words you use in a job advertisements that will be attractive enough for you to attract. Two, because you realize that the set skills you require can be found in more than one candidate. So once you're able to identify the applicants that have your the required set skills, then you break it down to who fits best into the role. And I say who fits best into the role because sometimes you can have an interview session and realize that you have about 2-3 candidates that actually have the set skill, they have their hands-on skill and the number of years of experience you're expecting and all of that. But one of them might not fit in perfectly. Let me give an example. So at Recruitment Engineering, we operate a very youthful environment, and so I have an age bracket. And so, for example, if I interview some candidates and I realize that they all have the skills I'm requiring for, I'm sure the next thing I would want to jump into is to look at whether or not the person is going to fit in my age bracket, because it's going to go a long way to affect the person. So, for example, having a very useful environment of an average age of 27 and you employ somebody of 54 years, you realize that you're going to have challenges with that. So that is when it's required that you select exactly which of the resources best fits for your role. Then you go to the hiring level. So it's usually during the hiring level that you go into more discussions as to the salary expectations, the logistics needed, and all of that. Negotiation before the person starts with the letter, offer letter, and before you onboard the employee. And onboarding alone is a whole process on its own. So I'm sure we'll leave it for another time. I mean, with identifying and attracting candidates, I'm sure you can also equally from a very reputable institutions like Jobberman to do that. So actually, this whole process actually can be reflected in a remote sense. So for the purpose of this meeting, we are actually going to delve more into the remote aspect of recruitment. So imagine this whole process: identifying, attracting, interviewing, selecting, hiring, and onboarding, doing everything remotely. And if I say remotely, what I mean is that whoever you are engaging, the resource you're engaging is not on site, it's not in the office. So you are not having a face-to-face interview. You are not selecting the person when the person walked in. And of course, I wouldn't deny the fact that the remoteness of recruitment comes along with some challenges, but we'll address that later in the presentation. So my next slide is talking about the traditional approach to recruitment, which I've already touched on. And I made mention of some challenges that may be encountered if you decide to do recruitment remotely. And the challenge derived from the approach of recruitment. You know, gone are the days when you are being interviewed and they ask questions like, what's the name of the minister? What is, I mean, they give you some mathematical calculations to do and all of that. We have actually moved from that kind of recruitment to what we call the behavioral approach to recruitment. When we talk about behavioral approach, we are talking about getting to know the past of candidates to determine the future of the candidates. And so, for example, if I'm having a behavioral interview with you, I'm trying to identify some challenges you faced in the future, the approach you used in resolving the challenge, and what was the result. And so from that, I'm able to, or I can be at least confident that in the future, if I employ you, this is how you're going to go about it. And so because of this nature, we look more out for signs in the candidate. And it's very easy. My HR people would bear with me. It's very easy to identify such traits when the person is with you, when you're having a vis-a-vis meeting with the person. And so, for example, when I meet you in person and you're sitting right in front of me, I can tell whether you're a confident person. I can tell whether you are lying. I can tell, how even your presentation skills and all of that. The personal touch would make it easier to identify that. And so, of course, writers are saying that usually it's a bit hard to identify such traits when it's done remotely. And so you are behind your PC, I'm also behind my PC. How do I tell some traits that I'm looking out for? But then, like I said, I'll touch on that subsequently. And so the reason behind moving from the traditional approach to the current approach is to be able to get results, or to be able to determine the probability of the output of whoever you are recruiting. And it's even moved on from the traditional way of from the first day we are meeting all the way to your hiring day, to now some HR people would rather adopt the first interview to be on phone. Some would even use Zoom, and up until it gets to the hiring stage when they have to do negotiation and all of that. So now we are sort of adopting partly remotely and partly in person until 2020. So what it means is that remote recruitment has actually been in existence for a while, and research has shown that it's actually been very effective, in as much as the person is not in front of you. So I've identified, I've defined what remote recruitment is and all of that, but we are going to look at what you have to know about remote recruitment. And I'll take this in two approaches. I'm going to address the angle of the employer, then I'll address the angle of the job seeker, because I it is imperative that both parties know the roles they have to play when it comes to remote recruitment. And I'm sure just when you all heard of the word remote recruitment, or the first thing that came to mind is COVID. But there are other reasons why some employers or some companies would want to recruit remotely. An example is when you find your talent in a particular region, or let's say, and they might be out of your jurisdiction, out of your country, and so you would want to recruit them remotely, or maybe you have some satellites, you have some other branches outside where you have your human resource office, and you would have to embark on recruitment anyway. You still have to use the digital aspect of recruitment to do that. So the first thing you have to know when it comes to remote recruitment is the importance of planning your recruitment remotely. And so what both parties, the employer and the employee, have to do is always to prepare their technology. And of course, from this morning, you can tell that you haven't some challenges. So imagine if you are going through a recruitment process and you have to go through this. It's not very ideal. If you're not a very confident person, it might even affect your output during the interview. So it's important that you prepare your technology, everything that you think you would need for your presentation, or for your interviewing, or your engaging, for your hiring, even for your onboarding process. You are required to ensure that your technology is always on. And how do you do this? You have to at least give yourself at least 24 hours to test your technology. So you test for your make sure that everything is great. Then there should always be a backup plan. Because without a backup plan, should there be anything, you would be found wanting. And as a job seeker, you are required to also be presentable for your interviews, and as much as possible, you should avoid some distractions. And so, as an employer or as an HR person, if I seek to engage a new or applicants, if I'm going through the process, the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure, like I mentioned earlier, that my advert is attractive enough to attract the right talent I'm looking for. After that, I would always ensure that I use my emails, phone calls, or any digital medium to communicate on time the dates for my interview, just so you can give the other party, which is the job seeker, an ample time to prepare towards the interview. And of course, as HR processes require, if there are other departments that other stakeholders that will be required to partake in the recruitment process, you have to give them an ample time so that they can also prepare their technology and make sure that the time schedule is met. And as much as possible, if the job seeker requires any information, I advise that you make all information available to him or her on time in order to aid the person in preparing towards the interview. And as much as possible, this I think comes as a skill though, but as much as possible, you should try to allow the job seeker to have the on-site feeling. And so in as much as we are having the interview or the onboarding or the hiring, the negotiation
objectives or my company needs to scientifically validated. The results must be objective. Okay, I don't want to have people with biased information winning. I need it to be scientific and objective. The third one is very important, but it's not common in Ghana. In the United States, for example, we have what we call the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. This is where a lot of discrimination activities are tamed. Okay, so you don't discriminate according to gender, age, nationality, tribe, and what have you. So everybody that has the skill, the ability, the competency stands a chance for going through the assessment. And obviously, you don't want cheating detection or prevention. So Amma comes for the interview, Kojo comes for the interview, and because I like them, then I'm able to tweak the results to suit them. No, your assessment tool must not allow you to do that. Now, finally, how do you use your assessment tools? Okay. Now, assessment tools provide a quantifiable and more objective selection process than other recruiting methods, to include unstructured interviews. But keep in mind that as much as they are very quantifiable and objective, they also have their own limitations. So, for those of you that have taken this test, some of the questions they ask could seem quite personal. You're like, this information you want from me, what are you using my data for? Yeah. So some candidates will perceive it as intrusive. Some tests can be discriminatory and violate non-discrimination laws. So I mentioned that before. Some people's assessment tools would give room for discrimination, okay? And then skill tests assess current knowledge, but not ability or willingness to learn, which are more often important on the job. So any test that does not give you the opportunity to test anything than current knowledge will limit the chances of you getting your objectives met, all right? So using assessment tools for recruitment and selection, such as pre-employment assessment test, is a great practice, but you get maximum effectiveness when it is combined with other recruiting methods. So right before you go into your structured interviews, you use the right combination of recruitment assessment tools. If you want to test for behavior, for technical skills, for situational, you want to see how people behave in a stimulated situation, find out which one best suits them before bringing them to sit down in an interview panel, because it makes it easier, more interesting, and obviously more effective to hire. Thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Emmeline. Thank you so much. So to our audience, if you have any question, could you please type it in the comments area, and then I'll just ask Emmeline and then Irene if you have any questions for them so far. Well, so far I do not have any question at the moment. So thank you so much.
But I have a question.
Hello, Irene.
I have a question.
Okay, so
I have a question for Jobberman.
Okay.
So I put certain criteria, and this is for the benefit of anyone listening. Do you meet all the criteria a job assessment tool should have, to include non-discrimination? Does it follow? Sorry, hold on. Yeah. Is it easy to customize it? Are you able to detect cheating, or can you prevent it? Yeah. Are you able to go through all of that?
Yes, we are able to detect cheating. There's what we call a window violation. So if, for example, if you're a job seeker and then you are applying for a job, and before you apply for that job, there's an attached assessment test. before you are able to apply for the job, you need to answer these questions. And there are some job seekers who are very smart.
Okay.
So they may tend to open another window or another tab to find out the answer to the question being asked. So this window violation application will be able to detect that, okay, this person was able to find the answer from this area. How many times he or she did that? It will prove to us, and we will know.
Okay.
And it even gives us
and it disqualifies the person automatically, right?
Yes. So it gives us the time, the time that you use in answering the question, and then the time you spent on that tab looking for the answer for the question being asked. So you'll be called out if you cheat.
Right. So a follow-up question: do you provide all the tests, personality testing, simulation, technical? Does it provide all of that, or I have to buy other ones to combine?
It's all inclusive.
Nice.
It's all inclusive, and it goes for 850 Ghana cedis if you want to purchase it as an employer.
Good. So that's the one stop. Is it a one-off payment, or you keep paying for it?
No, it's one-off payment. So if for example you are looking for a salesperson, and then you want us to attach the skills assessment to the sales job listing, any number of people who apply for the job, it doesn't matter the number of people, you will still pay for just 850 Ghana cedis.
And how long can I use that interview? Or when I want to do another assessment, do I have to pay again, or I can use it?
Okay, so if it's for a sales job, you pay for a sales job assessment test. If it's for an administrative job, you pay for.
Oh, I see. So it's not like I buy the software and I can use it for whatever I want.
No.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarity. Thank you too. So just as we mentioned earlier, the skills assessment is the best way that you can objectively compare candidates who apply for a job. This means that you are able to utilize the key and consistent criteria. There's nothing like bias here. Emlyn mentioned that. So when somebody applies for a job, there's nothing like, oh, this person, I know her from somewhere, blah, blah, blah. No, this is objective. The person has scored the thing. This person scored 100, this scored 50. So who do you think has the skills to do the job, the skills and the knowledge to do the job? That's the purpose of the skills assessment test. So I think we do not have any questions at the moment. All I'll say is thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us for this session, and I appreciate your time. Although we had challenges with our internet, topic out. So have a very good morning, everyone. If we can see, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, okay. So Irene, I want to see Irene. I want to see Emlyn. I want to see the three of us here. Myself, I can see myself, but I can't see Irene. I can't see Emlyn. So
hi.
Okay. All right. So we want to say
I can see Irene. I can't see you, Genevieve.
Okay, I think Emlyn, your video is off. Could you please toggle your video?
My video isn't toggled though. My video is untoggled.
Really? We can't see you.
But I can see Irene. But I can't
Irene,
see
can you see me?
No, and I can't see Genevieve too. No, Emma.
Wow. Too. Okay. So can you see me now?
Nope.
All right. Okay.
So can you see me now?
No, we can't see you. We just wanted to just do a last minute bye-bye to our audience. Thank you all for joining us.
All right. I'm sure it's a technical issue. All right. It was nice hanging out with you guys. Thank you for the opportunity to share and learn.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Bye everyone.
Thank you. Bye.